My name is Tonya. I'm 41 years old. I was born in San Diego. I grew up in East County. Got pregnant when I was 16 and dropped out of high school. Made some wrong choices and ended up becoming drug addicted. It was rough. I moved out of my house when I was 15 and it was rough. Well, I chose the wrong type of friends. I was selling drugs, using drugs. Their father was also. We ended up getting raided and my kids were taken from my house. Well, when they took my kids, I felt it was scary. I felt alone, lost. I felt a pain that I've never felt before. I knew that I was going to do whatever it took to get my kids back and try to get my life back. Well, I became CPS involved, and I successfully completed a year program. But after getting my children back the first time, I had no other support and was afraid to tell my CPS worker that I couldn't do it, which I eventually ended up relapsing again, and my children were all taken again for the second time. Well, the second time I was CPS involved, I went through another program for 13 months. And I successfully completed it and got my kids back. They had this new program that helped after reunifying with your children. Because once you reunify with your children, you have other overwhelming feelings and stuff that come with reunifying with your kids. It becomes overwhelming. At times you need help. Your self-esteem is not where it should be. And it was real easy for me to tell a lady with this other agency other than it would be for me to tell CPS. And I had an awesome worker with CPS. He made me feel more comfortable than any worker I've ever had. But still, the fact that he is Child Protective Services made it hard for me to tell him when I was struggling with things. Casey Family was different. I couldn't wait to call them and tell them, look, I can't do this, because I knew that they would be there to help me. And they aren't CPS, so it's like they can't come take your kids, and they're there to try and keep you with your kids, not try and take your kids from you. Just having that being said, it made it so much easier for me to talk to Casey Family than it did for me to talk with Child Protective Services. Well, I know that without an agency there to help after your children are returned to you, it tends to be a lot rougher than when there is somebody there that you trust and know that you can tell anything to. It felt good. It felt good to be able to be honest and be able to be open about how I was feeling and the struggles I was having. And knowing that somebody else was there that cared about me and that cared about my children as well. I went to talk with Lucia and I had told her, I'm so glad that you're not a social worker. And then she informed me that, yeah, I am a social worker. So I told her, well, I'm so glad you didn't tell me, because it would have made it harder for me. You know, she was more of a friend, and I didn't know she had this social worker on her. There would be times that I would be overwhelmed and thinking that I couldn't do what was put in front of me. And I would call Lucia and tell her, and she always told me, you can do this, you can do this. Would you like me to go with you? You need my help. So that was a big part of me going out there and trying to do something I didn't think I could do. She gave me the confidence that I could do it, and she offered her hand to go with me. Well, unfortunately, my boys, the 3 that were CPS involved, lost the support of their father. Their father kind of just stepped out of their life. So they had a few issues when they came back home, you know, and they're 4 rambunctious boys. They, you know, they are all good-hearted. They work hard. See, and that was the difference this time, was we didn't work together as a family the first time, and then with Casey Family coming in, they taught us how to be a family and work as a team, because they were like part of our team. And so this time the boys did their part in it as well, and that's a lot of the reason why this was successful. I felt I couldn't do it, but you can do it. If that's what you want in your heart, you need to be open and honest about stuff. It's scary to be honest about it, especially when you're drug addicted, but being honest is the start. Now me and my boys' case is closed. It took a while. It was a 3.5-year case. But now that the case is closed, I know and I feel confident that if anything becomes overwhelming, the first person that I would go to would be Casey Family and ask for help. you.